Hey guys, in today's video, I'll be showing you how I crocheted this flower arrangement. This will be a two-part video, so we're going to be first working on these roses and the leaves as well. In part two, we're going to work on the pot and attaching everything together. But before we get started, I do like to show you guys my practice pieces to show you guys how I came up with this final result here. So let me go ahead and show you that. This is my first practice piece, and I do really like it. I love the roses. I love this red, but the only issue I had with this, and the only thing I really changed, was the pot, because I felt like this was way too short, and it's only short because I didn't have enough of this yarn, and I'm really trying not to buy any more yarn. I just want to use up what I have. So this is what I came up with. And then basically the only thing I changed with this final one is the pot. I kept the roses all the same. I did add the leaves like to the actual rose. This one I didn't because you know, I was just working on it. I didn't really know what to do at the time. But also this part, because I ran out of yarn, I changed this dirt color to this lighter brown, which is actually this one right here. So in this one, I decided not to do the color change, only because you can't really see the roses and I don't have any brown yarn. So that's why that is that color. But if you did want to add like a brown for the dirt in the middle, you could. But honestly, the roses kind of covers everything. But yeah, this is my first practice piece and I think it looks cute, but I just wanted this pot, and also I wanted the rim at the top because I felt like it was just missing something. So yeah, that is the first guy, and then this is my final piece. So let's go ahead and get started. I will be using a 3.5mm crochet hook, scissors, a hot glue gun to attach everything, but if you did want to sew it instead of using this, you can go ahead and sew it. Pipe cleaners for the stem. For my yarn, I'll be using these colors. For the pot, this is from Karen's 1 pound yarn. I think this one is called Dove. This red one is Deep Red by Big Twist, and this one is also Big Twist and Forest Green for the leaves. You can use any color you want, but this is what I'm using. Also, for the roses, I am going to be adding some other colors. So I did pre-make these. This is also the Big Twist yarn. I just don't remember the name of these colors. So I'm going to add this color red plus these, but I'm only going to be showing you with this red color how to make the rose. I won't be using these items in part 1, but you will need this in part 2 when we make our pot. So you're going to need a stitch marker and some stuffing. We're going to first start off with the color of our flower, which mine is this red here. So I'm only going to demonstrate one rose, but I'll go really slowly because it's basically just going to be repeated until you make however many roses you want, which I did about 11 for my pot. But first we're going to start off with a slip knot. To create a slip knot, what I first like to do is take my yarn and just have it in half like this on my hands. And then I'll just take the ends and then I'll twist it. And then with this side where I have the loop, I'm just going to go ahead and grab that yarn and pull it through. And that is my slip knot. Then I'll take my crochet hook and insert it inside the loop. And then I'll just pull down. And now we're going to create a chain. To create a chain, you have to yarn over your hook. And to yarn over, you take this yarn, just go right over your hook and just pull through that loop. So that was one. I'll show you again about 5 more times. So yarn over and pull through. Take your yarn, go over your hook and pull through the loop. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through. So I'm going to be creating a chain of 45. With a chain of 45, this is how your rose would come out. So I haven't tried it with any other longer chain because I just finished making this pattern yesterday, so I haven't tested it out with anything else. But I'm sure if you made it longer, you can, you know, adjust it to however many of these scallop edges you have. So I will show you that later on, but I think you should just first start off with 45 so you can get the hang of it. And then if you add a longer number of chain, you'll know what to do after you finish watching how I made, you know, how I decided to make my little scallops. So let's go ahead and make a chain of 45. I will finish that off camera because it's literally just doing the same thing by yarning over and pulling through the loop. So once I get to 45, I'll be back and I'll show you what I do next. Once you create your chain of 45, this is what it should look like. You can go ahead and just stretch it out a bit so it can be a little bit more straight. And now what you're going to do for this round or this row, you're just going to go back into all of your the chains, and then we're just going to single crochet. So what we're going to do is start off right here. You see this chain closest to the hook, this one. You don't want to go into that. You're going into this guy where my thumb is. So you're going to go into the second chain away from the hook. So not that one, but this one. You want to go into that chain. You want to grab that yarn, pull it through, you have 2 loops on the hook, you're going to yarn over and pull through both of those loops because that is a single crochet, and you're going to do that all the way through. So let's go into the next chain, go in, grab that yarn, pull it through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, and pull through both. I'll show you that 2 more times before I finish the rest off camera. So let's go into the next chain, this one right here, push your hook through, take some of this yarn and pull it through the loop or through that chain. You have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, and pull through both. So this is the last time I'll show you. So let's go into the next chain, grab that yarn, pull it through. We have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through both of those loops, and that is your single crochet. So now finish that all the way through until you get to the end of this row. Back towards the end, and I just wanted to show you that once you get towards the end, you can see you have like this yarn piece left over. What I'd like to do is just fold it back, and then we're just going to work over it. So now I have it at the back of my chain. I'm just going to go ahead and keep doing my single crochets as normal, but just make sure that I have that yarn so I can easily cover it up instead of just cutting it off. So I'll just go into that next chain, grab that yarn, pull it through. You can see I'm working over this chain and that yarn piece. So I'm just yarning over, pulling through. And then we can get started on the scallops after we're done single crocheting this row. So that's what it looks like. You can see that that yarn piece is now gone. So now we can start our work by turning it over first. Before we get started, I do want to show you my written pattern, and if you watch me, you already know that I'm most likely never going to type this up because I just don't have the time for it, and also I kind of just do this for fun anyways. But I do want to show you that what we're doing here, we just did was a chain of 45, then you just single crocheted, and because you went into the second chain, you now have a count of 44. But this part right here, if you can't read it, you can just go ahead and screenshot it and then follow along, or just, you don't have to watch the video. But these parts are just each of the scallops, so I just made them different sizes, and that's the reason I'm only showing you one rows, because it's going to take a long time, so you're just going to have to go back to rewatch it if you need a reminder. But yeah, each of these like numbers right here is one scallop, and then this is how many of them that I did, but you can adjust that to however you want. So let me go ahead and get started with this first one. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my hook back into this loop, and now if you remember that pattern I just showed you, we're going to turn our work. So I'm literally just taking this side and pulling it over to my left, and I'm not going to chain one or anything. I'm literally just going to go straight into the stitch, and I don't go into this corner one right here. I'm going to go right into this next one, so the second one, and I'm going to do a single crochet. So we've already been doing a single crochet. Remember, just go into your stitch, grab that yarn and pull it through, and now you have your 2 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over and pull through both of those loops. And then for the next step, I'm going to do a half double crochet into the next stitch. So to do that, you have to yarn over your hook. So take your yarn, go over your hook, and then now go into the stitch, grab this yarn and pull it through your stitch. You now have 3 loops on the hook, so you want to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. That was a half double crochet. Next, you're just going to slip stitch into the next stitch. So it's pretty easy. Just go into your stitch. You're not going to yarn over anything. Just go straight into your stitch. You're going to grab this yarn and pull it through and pull straight through the loop. So you can see it's not like a very big scallop or anything, but I feel like you want to start off small and then go big, but that's how I first started off mine. Also, before we get going, I do want to mention one more thing. All of these stitches right here are going into a stitch, so it's not going into like the same stitch or anything. It's going to each one of these stitches. So just want to mention that beforehand, because I know this isn't that clear because it's usually just for my eyes, but yeah, so each one of those will go into one of these stitches. So now let's move on to our next scallop. For our next scallop, we're going to start off with the half double crochet. So yarn over your hook, go through your next stitch, grab this yarn and pull it through. You now have your 3 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Then we're going to do a double crochet. So same thing, let's yarn over first, go into your next stitch, grab this yarn and pull it through. You have your 3 loops on the hook, but this time yarn over your hook again. So take this yarn, go over your hook, and then go through your first 2 stitches. So this one and this one right here. So that was 1, 2. Now you have 2 loops left on the hook. So first yarn over and then pull through the last 2. And that was a double crochet. And now you're going to end this scallop off by slip stitching. So take your hook, go into your next stitch, grab this yarn and pull it through the stitch and that loop. So that is your second scallop. Again, I know you can't really tell too much, but that is the second one. Now let's move on to our third scallop. For this third scallop, we're going to start off the same way by doing a half double crochet. So let's yarn over our hook, go through your next stitch, grab this yarn and pull it through. You have your 3 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over and pull through all 3 of those stitches. That was a half double. Now you're going to do a double again, but you're going to chain 1 first. So to do that, yarn over your hook and pull through that loop. That was a chain 1. Now you're going to do a double crochet into the next stitch. So first let's yarn over, go into your next stitch, grab this yarn and pull it through the stitch. You have your 3 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over and pull through the first 1, 2 loops. So I'm going through those 2. And now I have 2 loops left on the hook, so yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. So that was our double crochet. Now we're going to do a half double crochet into our next stitch. So let's yarn over our hook, go into your next stitch, grab the yarn, pull it through. You have your 3 loops on the hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those. That was our half double crochet. And then to end this off, we're going to do a slip stitch into the next stitch. So take your crochet hook, go into your next stitch, grab this yarn, pull it through the stitch and through that loop as well. So I'll take this out again to show you what it looks like. So you can see that it's gradually getting a little bit bigger. So this next scallop we're doing is going to get a little bit bigger and you're going to be able to see the difference. So with this one, we're going to start off by doing a chain of 1. So to do a chain, just yarn over your hook and pull through that loop. Now we're going to do a double crochet. So let's yarn over our hook. Let's go into your next stitch, grab the yarn, pull it through. We have our 3 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over, but pull through only the first 2 stitches. So I just went through 1. This is the second one. And now I have 2 loops left. So I'm going to yarn over. And this time I'm just going to pull straight through both of them. And that was our double crochet. Now we're going to do another double crochet. But before we do that, we want to chain 1. So yarn over your hook and pull through. So that was a chain of 1. Now let's do a double crochet one more time. So let's yarn over our hook. Let's go through our stitch. Grab the yarn, pull it through. We have our 3 loops on the hook. So let's yarn over and pull through the first 2 stitches. Yarn over, pull through the last 2 stitches. So that was another double crochet. Then to end this off, let's chain 1 again. So yarn over your hook, pull through the loop. And then now we're going to slip stitch into our next stitch. So just go through that stitch, grab that yarn, pull it through, and pull it through this loop as well. So now let me take this out to show you what it looks like. So you can see this scallop is the biggest one so far, and we're going to do this 3 more times. Before we get going, I do want to mention that, remember how in the beginning of this video I did say you can adjust your chain. So if you don't want to do the 45, like if you decide to go on and make a couple more of these, like you want to do a chain of 50, 55, 60, you can just adjust your scallops. So you add however many of these you want to. Do you like the, the smaller scallops? Do you like the bigger ones? You can just go ahead and put more or less of any of these you want. This is just how I personally like it. And of course you don't have to do what I do. You can adjust to your liking. So now we're going to do this scallop 3 more times. So in total, I have 4 of these bigger ones. Now we will be making bigger ones towards the end, like 2 more sizes. But so far, I do like this, so that's why I do add 3 more of these. Let's go ahead and do this again. So we first start off by chaining 1. So let's go ahead and yarn over our hook and pull through that loop. and then we're going to do a double crochet. So let's take our yarn, go over our hook, let's go into our stitch, grab this yarn and pull it through. We have our 3 loops on the hook, we're yarning over and pulling through the first 2 loops, yarn over again and pull through the last 2. And then we have to chain 1 to do our next double crochet. So let's yarn over our hook, pull through the loop. Now let's do our double crochet again. So let's yarn over our hook, let's go into your next stitch. We're taking this yarn and grabbing it through the stitch, and then we have our 3 loops on the hook, so let's yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the last 2. And then to end off the scallop, we're going to chain 1. So let's take our yarn, go over our hook and then pull through, and then we're going to slip stitch into the last chain, the next stitch. So let's go into this stitch, grab that yarn, pull it through. Oops, it's splitting. Okay, let's do that again. Let's go through that stitch, grab that yarn, pull it through the stitch, and then pull it through the loop as well. And now let me show you what it looks like. So there goes our second bigger scallop. I'm gonna do that 2 more times. Okay, so let's start off by chaining 1. Let's take our yarn, go over our hook and pull through. Then let's do our double crochet. I'm gonna go like a little bit faster because it's the same thing. So let's yarn over our hook, go through your stitch, grab the yarn, pull it through. We have our 3 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the last 2. And then to do our double crochet, first let's chain 1. So let's take our yarn, go over our hook, pull through. Now let's do the double crochet. So let's take our yarn, yarn over our hook, go into your next stitch, grab this yarn and take it through that stitch, and now you have your 3 loops on the hook. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So next let's yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the last 2. And then to end off our scallop, let's chain 1 first. So take your yarn, go over your hook, pull through, and then we're going to slip stitch into our next stitch. So going into the stitch here, grab that yarn, pull it through that stitch and through this loop as well. Again, I just want to take it out to show you. This is what it currently looks like. I'm just going to do that 1 last time. So let's first start off by yarning over your hook, pulling through. That was a chain of 1. So now you're doing your double crochet. So you yarn over your hook, go into your stitch, grab that yarn, pull it through. You have your 3 loops on the hook, you're yarning over, pulling through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2. And then let's chain 1 again. So yarn over, pull through. Oops, yarn is splitting. Okay, pull through. And then let's double crochet. So yarn over your hook, go into your stitch, grab that yarn, pull it through. You have your 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Then you're going to chain 1. So take your yarn, pull it over your hook and then pull through the loop. And then you're going to go into your next stitch, grab that yarn, pull it through the stitch and the loop as well. And here we have our 4th one of the scallops, of the bigger ones. Right, now we're moving on to our 5th scallop, the bigger one. So we're going to first start off by chaining 1. So let's yarn over our hook, pull through the loop. That was a chain of 1. Now we're going to start off by half double crocheting. So if you remember, we have to first yarn over our hook. We're going to go into your stitch, grab that yarn, pull it through. We have 3 loops on the hook. You want to yarn over your hook and pull through all 3. Next, I'm going to chain 1. So let's yarn over our hook, pull through. And then this time we're going to do a double crochet. So same way, let's yarn over first. Let's go into your next stitch, grab this yarn, pull it through the stitch, and you have your 3 loops on the hook. Now you want to yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2. We're going to do a new stitch, but first let's yarn over our hook to chain 1. So yarn over, pull through, and this time we're going to do a triple crochet. So to do that, let's take our yarn and go over our hook once and twice. So now I have 3 loops on my hook currently, 3 loops. Okay, so next let's just go into your next stitch. So this one right here, I'm grabbing this yarn and pulling it through that stitch, and I currently have 4 loops on my hook. So I'm going to yarn over and pull through the first 2, and now I should have 3 loops left on my hook, but this time I'm going to yarn over, pull through the next 2, and now I have 2 loops left. So yarn over and pull through the last 2. So you just pull through 2 of the loops each time. Next we're going to chain 1, so let's yarn over our hook and pull through, and then we're going to do a double crochet. So let's yarn over our hook, let's go into your next stitch, grab this yarn, pull it through the stitch. We have our 3 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. That was a double crochet. Next you're going to chain 1, so let's yarn over our hook, pull through, and then you're just going to slip stitch to end the scallop off. So let's just go into your next stitch, grab this yarn, pull it through that stitch and this loop as well, and then I'll take this out to show you how that scallop looks. And so you can see that this is gradually getting bigger to this one. I'm going to repeat that scallop one more time. So let's first start off by doing a chain of 1. So yarn over your hook and pull through that loop, and then we're going to do our half double crochet. So yarn over your hook, go into your stitch, grab the yarn and pull it through. We have our 3 loops on the hook, so now let's yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Losing my voice. Okay, next let's chain 1. So yarn over your hook, pull through that loop, and then we're going to do a double crochet. So yarn over your hook, go into your stitch, grab that yarn, pull it through. We have our 3 loops on, oh my gosh, dog hair. We have our 3 loops on the hook. Now let's yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2. That was our double crochet. Now let's do our triple crochet, but we're going to do our chain 1 first. So take your yarn, go over your hook and pull through that loop, and now let's do our triple crochet. So to do that, first let's go over our hook 2 times, then you're going to go into your stitch, you're going to grab that yarn, pull it through. You now have 4 loops on the hook, so let's yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops, yarn over, and then pull through the last 2 loops. Now that we have our triple crochet, let's do our chain of 1. So let's yarn over our hook and pull through that loop. And then now we're going to do our double crochet. So yarn over your hook, go into your stitch, grab that yarn, pull it through. We have our 3 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2, and then to end off the scallop we're going to chain 1 first. So let's yarn over, pull through, and then we're slip stitching into the next stitch. So go straight into that stitch, grab that yarn, pull it through that stitch and this loop as well, and I'll take it out again just to show you what it starts to look like. We are moving on to our last scallop and my favorite. So first let's start off by chaining 1. So let's yarn over and pull through, and this time we're going to start off with a double crochet. So let's yarn over our hook, go into our stitch, grab that yarn and pull it through. We have our 3 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Now let's chain 1. So yarn over a hook, pull through the loop, and we're going to do our triple crochet, but first let's chain 1. So yarn over your hook, pull through that loop, and now to do your triple crochet, remember, go over your hook once and twice, and then now let's go into your your stitch, and then grab that yarn, pull it through the stitch. You have 4 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the next 2, yarn over, and pull through the last two. That's our triple crochet. Now let's chain one, so yarn over and pull through. And then you're going to do a triple crochet one more time, so let's yarn over our hook 2 times. And now we're going into our stitch. We're grabbing that yarn, pulling it through. We have 4 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the next 2, yarn over, and pull through the last 2. And that was our triple crochet. Now let's chain one, so yarn over your hook, pull through, and now let's do a double crochet. So let's yarn over our hook, go into your next stitch, grab that yarn, pull it through. We have 3 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. Now let's chain one, and we're ending it off by doing a slip stitch. So let's go into our next stitch, grab that yarn, pull it through the stitch and your loop as well. And now you can see that is our biggest scallop. So we're just going to do that one more time. So let's go ahead and start off with our chain one. So let's yarn over a hook, pull through. Then let's do our double crochet. So yarn over your hook, go into your stitch, grab that yarn, pull it through. We have 3 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Now we're doing our triple crochet, so let's yarn over our hook, and first we're doing the chain one actually, then we're doing the triple crochet. So let's go over twice, go into your next stitch, grab this yarn and pull it through the stitch. We have 4 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, go through the next 2, yarn over, and go through the last 2. Then you're going to chain one, so let's yarn over a hook, pull through, and let's repeat that triple crochet one more time. So yarning over twice, going into the next stitch, grabbing my yarn and pulling it through. We have our 4 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the next 2, yarn over, and pulling through my last 2. So now I'm going to chain one, so let's yarn over a hook, pull through, and then we're going to do our double crochet. So yarn over your hook, go into your stitch, grab that yarn, pull it through. We have our 3 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. And then for this ending part right here, what I like to do is actually single crochet. So I'm not going to chain one or anything. I'm just going to go into this stitch and I'm just doing a single crochet. Oh, so sorry. I'm going to go into the stitch. I'm going to grab that yarn, pull it through. I have my 2 loops on the hook. I'm yarning over, pulling through both of those loops. And then at the end right here, I'll just do a slip stitch. So it's kind of just like this weird little corner thing. I'm just going to go straight into it. Sorry if you hear background noise. And then just go straight into that. If you can get in there. And then grab your yarn and pull it through that little thing and then that loop. And now we can just take our scissors and we're going to cut this off. And then you see this loop right here. What I like to do is just take my crochet hook, go into that loop, and I'll take this yarn and pull it through the loop. And then I'll just tighten that up. And then you can cut this off later, but I'm going to show you how to wrap it. Well, I'm not going to show like the full thing yet. I just want to show you that you can either start from this bigger side or the smaller one. It's just going to give you a different look. So right now I'm doing it from the larger scallop, and I'm just going to fold it just to show you what it would look like. So obviously you're going to be cutting that off later, but if you fold it from the biggest in the middle, that's what it would look like. But then if you do it the opposite way, where you're going from the smallest scallop to the other side, this is what it will look like. So depending on also how tight you roll it up or, you know, loose, it's going to look a little bit different. But that is how you do the rose. And now I'm going to show you how to do the leaf. Now that we're moving on to the leaf, I'm just taking my green yarn and we're going to start off with the slip knot. So it's going to be the same way we started off the rose, where I just take the yarn and I hold it in half like this. And then I'll just grab onto the ends and twist it. And now that I have a loop in this hand, I'm just going to take the yarn and pull it through that loop. And then this time we're going to create a chain of 8. So to do that, you're just going to yarn over your hook and pull through, yarn over and pull through. So I'm just going to do that until I get my chain of 8, and then I'll be right back. Now that we have our chain of 8, we're going to go into the 3rd chain. So this is 1 that's close to the hook, this is 2, and this is 3. So we're going to go into this 3rd one right here by doing a double crochet. So first let's yarn over our hook, and then let's go into that 3rd chain. So that's 1, 2, 3, this one here. Let's grab that yarn and pull it through. We have our 3 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, and then pull through the last 2 loops. We're going to do a double crochet into the next chain. So let's yarn over our hook, go into that next chain, grab this yarn, pull it through. We have our 3 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. So this part right here is going to be the bottom of the leaf. Now we're going to start to not decrease, but we're going to make it go downwards. So to do that, we're going to do a half double crochet into the next stitch. So let's yarn over, let's go in, or the next chain, not the stitch, go into that chain, grab that yarn, pull it through, and we have our 3 loops on the hook. Remember, a half double, you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. And then we're going to do that one more time into the next chain. So let's go ahead and yarn over, go into the next chain, grab the yarn, pull it through. We have our 3 loops on the hook. Now let's yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Now we're going to keep going forward, and into that next chain we're going to do a single crochet. So let's go into that chain, grab some yarn, pull it through. We have our 2 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over and pull through both loops. Next, at the end right here, we're going to do a slip stitch. So let's just go into that chain, grab some yarn and pull it through that chain and this loop as well. And then now we're going to go back down on this side. But before we do that, let's first chain 1. So yarn over your hook and pull through that loop. And then we're going to just follow whatever we did right here to this side, but you're doing it the opposite. So right here we started off with a slip stitch, so let's just go in. Also, I'm going to work around this yarn, like I'm going to put it right next to the chain, and then I'll just crochet around it so we don't have to cut off too much yarn. So now let's just go back in. So I'm going to go back in here, and we're going to do a slip stitch, just grabbing that yarn and pulling it straight through. Next, we're going to do a single crochet. So I know it's going to be a little bit hard to see the stitches, but just try to match it up to the stitch that was on this side. So now I'm just going to do my single crochet. So I'm just grabbing that yarn, pulling it through. We have our 2 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over and pull through both of those loops. Next, we're going to do our half double crochet. So let's yarn over our hook, go into your next chain. I'm going to go into this one here, grab that yarn, pull it through. We have our 3 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over and pull through all 3. Again, I know it's going to be hard to see where you're supposed to go into, but remember, just try to match it up with whatever's on this side. If you have to go into the same stitch because you feel like you're too far down already, just go into the same stitch. It doesn't matter too much. So next, we're going to do another half double crochet. So I'm going to yarn over my hook, and then we're going to go into a stitch, grab some yarn, pull it through. We have 3 loops on the hook, yarning over, pulling through all 3. You can just stretch it out a bit. And then we're going to end off with 2 double crochets. I'm going to do one right here and then one towards the end right there. So to do the double crochet, let's yarn over our hook. We're going to go into this stitch, or this chain area, grab that yarn, pull it through. We have 3 loops on the hook. I'm yarning over, pulling through the first 2. Oops, split right there. And then I'll yarn over and pull through the last 2. We have 1 more double crochet to do, so I'm going to go into this little chain area right here. So I'm going to yarn over my hook. Going to go into this area. Let me show you that again. I'm going to kind of go towards the end right here because I just feel like that space might make it look a little bit better. So I'm going to go into this one, grab that yarn, pull it through. We have our 3 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. And that is our leaf. So now I'm just going to take my scissors, cut off some of this yarn. What am I doing? Okay, there it goes. And then what I do here is I'm just gonna pull this yarn out, and then I'm gonna bring this part towards the end right here. So I'm gonna take my crochet hook and I'm gonna go at the bottom of the leaf, just push my hook through. I'm gonna take this yarn, I'm wrapping it around that hook and pulling it through the loop. I'm not gonna pull all the way, just enough until I have, you see the loop on the hook. I'm now going to wrap the yarn around the hook again and just pull through that loop. So you can see it's in that loop now, and I'll just pull on it to tighten it up. And that is our leaf. We can cut this off later, but you need to make a couple more. You can determine how many you want. I think I did about 11 of these, and then we're gonna glue it on to the flower a little bit later. Now all you have left to do is create a couple more flowers and also some leaves, and then in part 2 I will show you how to make the pot and attach everything together. So if you see this video before the pot is posted, it just means that I'm not filming it the same day because I don't have enough time. So it's just going to be up a week later, but at least you'll have time to create the flowers. So I don't know how the scheduling is going to go yet because I have to edit this and I don't know if everything will fit. But if you don't see part 2, just remember it's going to take like a week later for me to film that and get it up. So I hope you guys found this video very helpful, and if you did, I will see you in part 2.